Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Pick Up the Truth. I know I've been missing in action for a little bit because the video I put out on about my brother Mag, I had to step back and really think about what happened afterwards, and his response that he made to me in a video we're going to check out. And it just got me thinking about a whole lot of things, and I really made that video because I wanted to show my brother Mag that I had respect for him, and I wanted him to know that I appreciated that he helped me. He helped me discover something in my life that was deceiving me to the degree that it made me the person I was. I mean, when I found out that the whole Christian religion thing was a deception, and it divided me from the rest of my brothers and sisters around this beautiful land that was created for us, it just it made me see a whole lot of things, truthfully. And I just wanted to relay that to him, but his response was just odd, and we're going to take a look at it in a truthful manner. And it makes me look at Mag in a whole new light. And just like I said, what I do on my channel is I break down the Masonic construct that programs our minds, that personally affects our lives each and every day, because only that can give us power over what controls, programs, and enslaves us. You know, knowing what it is and how it affects us in our lives, we know that we have power over it instead of it having power over us, because we're oblivious to it. Truth helps us every day in our lives, and that's what we do here on Pick Up the Truth. We talk about those individual systems that program our mind, and we're designed to do it because we were all born in a Masonic construct, a pyramid scheme, an elaborate pyramid scheme of top down, one always in control and the others follow. And that's one thing I pointed out in the last video I created about Mag, is he seems to have placed himself on a pedestal above the rest of the people that are so-called our brothers in truth, brothers and sisters in truth. And he doesn't see himself as equal like we see ourselves as equal. Like the people that subscribe to Pick Up the Truth, they're my brothers and sisters. I don't place myself on a pedestal above them, even though I teach truth. We all have things to teach each other, and we should all respect and love one another as fellow truthers, looking to change our lives for truth, for the better, to change humanity and to change ourselves for truth. But it doesn't seem that my brother Mag wants to do that. It seems like he wants to place himself above me and put himself on a pedestal. so he doesn't have to confront the things, the truthful things I was talking about on my channel, on the video that I created about him. And we're going to talk about the things that he does discuss that we broke down. But we have to come to the realization that what is being done to us is real, folks. There's real deception. There's real people in our lives that are trying to deceive us. There's real people in our lives that are trying to program and control us. And I'm sorry to say, Mag is one of those people. Mag is one of those Masonic people set in place, ready for this very situation we're in, to program your mind back into the world that enslaves you. And we're going to see how he does it, and we're going to break it down. And I know it's hard to accept, and I know the people that are programmed to worship and idolize this man, and we know as truthers we shouldn't idolize or worship any man. And we already know that any truther that expects his subscribers to idolize and worship them is dividing the people against each other. And that automatically tells us that this one is programming our mind back into the Masonic construct we came from. So let's get into it.
Again now with more bitter truth. Now before we get into this video, I'm gonna let you know right now, people, that if you have a channel and you can make videos and put out what you believe on there, yes, it's okay, but I got a lot of dummies on my channel that won't wake up, you understand?
Now there you go. Now he's put himself so far above that he thinks he can tell anyone on YouTube, if they have a channel, that it's okay to put out content, okay? According to this man, just a man now. But he's going to try to tell everybody, hey, according to me, it's okay, but if you do this and this, we're going to have a problem. And as far as calling his fellow truthers that he's supposed to be communicating with honestly in truth and learning truth from each other and talking about truth instead of being distant from everyone like he is and just shouts out your name to make you feel like, you know, he's real, to make you feel like he's, well, we know he's a real person, but make you feel like it's not just a program to brainwash your mind, because that's all it is, folks. A real truther does not divide himself from other truthers and does not blatantly disrespect other truthers and call them dumb, especially when those truthers support him on his channel. Okay? That's a red flag for me, and should be a red flag for a lot of people, because calling people stupid divides them from others that think they know more than them. That's all it is. Okay? So if Mag is promoting and instilling division in each and every one of us by calling us dumbasses or dumbasses, I mean, that's all he's doing, is programming us to think of the people that still don't know truth. He programs us to disrespect them by calling them these names. Okay, that's no good. That's not what a truther seeking truth and wanting to create unity would do. Now let's continue.
When I tell you something, you need to pay attention. And if you're gonna call me a brother, oh Mag, my brother this and my brother that.
Now, when I tell you something, you need to pay attention. No, I'm sorry, Mag. Everyone has their own independent soul that controls the vessel they're in, the human body. And that soul is the energy that brings that body life, and we all have that energy in us. That's what makes us brothers and sisters. Okay? It makes us all brothers and sisters, no matter if we like each other or not. No matter if we agree or not. We'll always be brothers and sisters. You can be a Masonic programmer, which you are, but we're still brothers and sisters. Let's continue.
And then at the same time, you're trying to debunk the Mag. Listen to this, man. Pick up the truth, so-called. You need to understand, dude. When I tell you it's the end of times, times is what you know and what's going on right now. You ever understand? Past time, present time. What's going on right now is the times. That's what you need to understand. And if you're dumb and you can't get it, yes, you can ask the Mag. You can't just make a video.
Now, if you're dumb and you can't get it, you can just come ask the Mag, because the Mag knows everything. He puts himself on a pedestal above other people, and only what he knows is truth. That's what a person programming your mind does. Okay? They don't want to discuss the real truth that you spoke about in the video, which he does not. He doesn't want to talk about the real, truthful things that I pointed out that he has no idea about. Or if he does, he wants to keep away from you because he doesn't want you to have power. He keeps programming you to do the same repetitious things of learning the truth. His surface truth, not the real truth of the life you live every day. Not the power that you can gain from the real truth. He doesn't want you to know that.
2 hours trying to debunk the Mag. You need to wake up. End of times, meaning it's a reset. How many times I don't tell you that? 2020.
Now, he's offended because I did a 2-hour video. Well, I'm sorry, Mag. Next time, I'll realize your attention span is not that great, and I'll shorten the video. Maybe I'll make this one shorter so you can comprehend it. Okay? Now, the end of times. The end of times as we know it. Now, the end of times as we know it in the scripted Masonic Bible that programs our minds, that is to program the people that are still brainwashed. We as truthers are not on that page anymore. We should be above what programs the people's mind, so we can help the people that are still programmed by it. We should not be running these videos of fear repetitiously without trying to break them down further and talk about the individual ways they affect our lives personally, so we can have control over it. But we're going to get into it. Don't worry, Mag. I'll show you what this so-called dumb, stupid subscriber can teach the Masonic Mag. So let's get into it.
Is a reset. The times is what's actually going on. What's going on right now is the times. So what you know going on right now, is not gonna be later on. You understand what I mean? What you see now is gonna change. That's why they give you this pandemic and 2020 for the reset.
Now, you know what changed about time for me? When I found out truth, I found out that time was created by the men and women that enslaved me in it, by the men and women that schedule my life in it. Now, as an honest truther, I can tell you and everyone else as solid truth that all of our lives are scheduled in this time they created, each and every month. And we'll talk about it, Mag. These are the things you don't want to discuss, but these are the truthful things we need to discuss.
Let's get into this right here and break it down. And like I say, a lot of people need to wake up on this truth right here. Now, with this pandemic going on, and they tell the people that, you know, they can stay in their home, they're gonna hold off eviction and all of that shit. You believe them? I already told you from day one that they can't control the so-called people that own the buildings. You understand? And rent it out to people. You think they can control them and tell them not to evict you? We go get into this and show you how the pandemic can affect the people. No virus, just what they put on. As you can see, this person right here with all orange and all books behind him. Run it.
Now, there you go. Distracting us with this repetitious life we know we're already programmed to live. Okay? And he's distracting our minds with the Masonic orange that he keeps saying every video or so. We know that already. You got to point it out every time. Why would you want to point it out every time? There's only one reason: to keep you distracted by it. If you're looking for that Masonic signs or symbols, you're not looking for the rest of the truth in the video. You're not looking for the things that they enslave you with. You're not looking to see how they control you. But we will. We'll look and we'll learn.
Pandemic, we hear it repeatedly from public health officials. Stay at home. But many Americans don't have stable housing. And as William Brangham reports, a growing number
They don't have stable housing. And I told you already, when they tell you to stay home, they're trying to destroy the masses. The weak gonna break. You never get it. Just pay attention. And if you pay attention to my video all the way through, of course you will get it. Instead of saving it and trying to make a rebuttal. We're trying to make a rebuttal on my video. You need to wake your ass up and pay attention.
people are being forced out of their...
That's a typical Mason, putting himself above somebody else and thinking he's the almighty powerful knowledge. Now, as truthers, we know we collaborate together to learn from each other. Now, let's talk about the things he's talking about with this eviction. And we're going to rewind it.
Wake up on this truth right here now. With this pandemic going on, and they tell the people that, you know, they can stay in their home, they're gonna hold off eviction and all of that shit. You believe them? I already told you from...
Now, he's talking about the way we're programmed to live in this world, folks. But he's not letting us know the individual ways we're programmed in this world, because if he did, then he would give us real solutions of getting out of these things he's talking about. These things he's talking about are for people who don't know the truth about them, but we do. We know the truth about how they've stolen the land and resources from us that were naturally created. And we know the truth about how they name those lands. And we know the truth about how they get us to pledge our allegiance to these lands so they can control and enslave us. And we know how they get us to call the name of that land and call ourselves the name of that land so that we can believe in that land. We can believe in that land, and we can believe in the lives that the unnatural lives that we're created to live in on that land. We are enslaved on the land they stole from us. And they enslave us with the money that they collect for the rent. And we should be talking about that. The rent or the mortgage that they enslave us to have, and to cycle the money they enslave us with every month. They schedule it on the calendar they created, the time that he's referring to. When you know about the times they created, and you know how they created us to be in those times, you can take yourself out of that program. You can take yourself out of the times they program you in, and you can look at it more truthfully and see how it used to control you, but no longer does. And we need to stop. We need to stop being distracted by these Masonic signs and symbols. That's good for people just learning truth, to be able to decipher that everything is Masonic. We were born into a Masonic construct that enslaves us and brainwashes us in the schools. But let's continue.
Day one, that they can't control the so-called people that own the buildings, you understand, and rent it out to people. You think they can control them and tell them not to evict you? We go get into this and show you how the pandemic can affect the people. No virus, just what they put on. As you can see, this person right here with all orange and all books behind him. Run it.
Yeah, all orange and all books behind him. Okay, don't be distracted by that. Look for the real truth. Look at these books behind this one. All of those books were written to program our minds to believe in the world we're enslaved in. Even if these books were written by real people, the real people that wrote them were living their programmed life in their enslavement, just like we do. But Mag will never tell you that, so you can learn the truth and have power over it.
This pandemic, we hear it repeatedly from public health officials. Stay at home. But many Americans don't have stable housing. And as William Brangham reports, a growing number
They don't have stable housing, and I told you already, when they tell you to stay home, they're trying to destroy the masses. The weak gonna break. You never get it. Just pay attention, and if you pay attention to my video all the way through, of course you will get it, instead of saving it and trying to make a rebuttal. We're trying to make a rebuttal on my video. You need to wake your ass up and pay attention.
are being forced.
Now that's the Mason. We hear the Mason. He's giving us commands, so you won't do it again. He's not only telling me to pay attention because he's the higher authority, but he's also programming anyone who wants to come behind me and challenge him to be fearful of him.
Out of their homes because they cannot make rent payments.
Like tens of thousands of Americans right now, Rhonda Anderson and her family are being evicted.
So it's stressful in this hole. They can go outside.
And of course, they've been evicted, and of course, the camera crew and these news people know about it to go in there and get them an interview. All TV for the masses. But I'm trying to show you people, a lot of people gonna break in this pandemic. They're just mocking you with these shows. That's all it.
A lot of people are going to break in this pandemic, and he keeps saying that over and over and over again, instead of being truthful with you and telling you how these people are being controlled, just like you are. These people are their lives are scheduled in the calendar they created to schedule their lives on. Every single holiday, they're programmed to celebrate, to cycle the money that they're enslaved to. Every birthday, they're programmed to celebrate, to cycle the money they're enslaved to. They have at least 10 or 15 bills on that calendar month they're programmed to cycle the money they're enslaved to. And all these material items, you see them packing up, they're programmed to purchase them because the corporations are the part of the ones that enslave us on this world, enslave us in this unnatural world that they convinced us to build and enslave ourselves in. But see, these are the truthful ways we can take this knowledge and apply it to our own lives, so we can honestly have power over it instead of being unaware and just letting it have power over us. Whether these are real people or not, we can relate to it because this is our life. We're programmed to live in these boxes called houses with pyramids on top. That's for the Masonic construct that we're programmed to be enslaved in. Make no mistake, this is not a joke, people. Don't take this information lightly and consider it carefully, because this information is meant to help you break free from the Masonic things that program you in your life and give you power over it. And if Mag was a serious truther wanting to help people truthfully, because I know he keeps saying that he gives truth for free and he's doing all this work, trust me, it doesn't matter if you're offering truth for free. If you're programming people into a Masonic construct, back into a Masonic construct, that's not truth. And you can keep it. Because I choose not to be programmed by Masons any longer in my life. All the stress and anxiety they create because they schedule our lives in the time they created, the time that we're supposed to be aware of, and that gives us power because we're aware of. You don't teach, Mag, but I teach on my channel. I teach the people so they can have power in their lives, so they won't be controlled. They won't have to cycle as much of the money that they're programmed to cycle in this scheduled life. Gives them power over the money that enslaves them. Also gives them power to keep their emotions from being manipulated by all the stress and anxiety being scheduled on this calendar creates. And yes, real truth helps people. This is what we talk about. Let's continue.
Last December, Anderson's family was excited when they moved to North Charleston, South Carolina. She and her husband had both found good jobs and this nice rental home close to work.
Yes, they found good job. You gotta explain what the good job was. All psyops for the masses.
But then, 3 months after they moved, the pandemic hit.
Now, they found good jobs. You going to explain what the good jobs are? No. That tells us that Mag doesn't know truth. You don't know that the jobs are the way they enslave us in this world. They created these positions. They created the corporations that enslave us. They created the money that we cycle to be enslaved by. And yet, they created the time that we're enslaved in. The same time that you say is ending. They'll never get rid of the time they enslave and program us in. They'll never do it. It's their system. The end of times. To start over again while everybody's still alive to know about it. Okay.
months.
Anderson's husband lost his home restoration job when the virus and the shutdown dried up all his company's projects.
My husband filed for unemployment, didn't get no unemployment. So basically it left me in a situation to do stuff by myself. Try to keep food in the house and try to pay the rent.
Rhonda took on extra hours at her job. She's the head cook at a local nursing home. These days,
There's the stress and anxiety, trying to keep food in the house and try to pay rent and try to pay your phone bill, try to pay your car note, try to pay your insurance, and try to pay all kinds of shit that you're scheduled in time to pay. Yes, real stress and anxiety on each and every one of us. But if we know truth, we can avoid it. How, people? By uniting together, communicating with one truther to another, collaborating, maybe moving in with each other, sharing expenses until you can end it all together and just get away from this system that enslaves us all together? Yes, we can do that. But if we don't talk about it truthfully, we can't. It will never manifest because we're too busy being programmed by mag, bitter, truth.
See, a local nursing home, and you know the nursing home already tied to this so-called virus. So there you go, people. Of course, this one picking up extra hours at the nursing home, okay?
working up to 75 hours a week, but it still hasn't been enough to make rent on time.
Wow.
I've never been in this situation
Wow,
before.
so you're working at a nursing home 75 hours a week and you still can't pay your rent? Okay.
Working at a nursing home. She's enslaved in that nursing home to make the money that she's controlled with. You understand? No.
No way, never.
After paying the rent late in April and in May, her landlord told her she was being evicted.
I'm asking, like, how are you going to pick us?
Watch them post up the Amazon box right there with the arrow on it. Of course,
If we
no
still
code.
paying our payment. He said, I just...
Now watch them post up the Amazon box. Was that a commercial for 'em, Mag? Because Amazon is the one that brings everybody the items that they purchase.
I just want y'all out of there. And we didn't know why.
Wow.
Baseball pitchers. Yeah.
Wow. So you pay your rent, he just want you harder there. So you already pay your rent, so it's not a problem that you can't pay your rent, but he just want you harder there. Okay.
Landlord said Anderson paid her rent late several times, and she was violating.
Now that's another thing that confuses me, because Mag doesn't act like he knows anything about the rent payments are scheduled in the calendar they created. He doesn't act like he knows any of that. I mean, and to dismiss somebody who's honestly trying to show him some more truth, it baffles my mind, and it's another red flag to show you he's not serious about discovering truth and helping people. Really helping people in their real lives, you know. Stop the anxiety that they program you to have on these calendars. Stop celebrating the birthdays. Stop celebrating the holidays. These are all ways they program us to cycle the money they enslave us with. This is real, folks. We have to fight back mentally and stop being enslaved with these things they convince us we need.
Leaving her lease because her 20-year-old son wasn't on the initial paperwork. He had come to live with her.
A lot of these shit right here gonna pop up because, you know, because of the so-called virus that they got out there for the masses fooling you. Yes, you're gonna have to so-called end up in somewhere where you don't wanna be or where you're supposed to be somewhere else, you understand? But just because of the virus, you just end up there like this one so-called end up at home. Yeah, but he's not on the...
You should be teaching the people that we should unite together to stop paying these bills that they program us to have every month. Or we could at least share them to where it's not so devastating to be able to we can stop cycling the money they enslave us with, so it no longer causes us stress and anxiety in our lives, but offers us real, truthful solutions.
The lease, so it's a problem with the landlord.
College closed because of the pandemic. The CARES Act, the coronavirus relief package Congress passed
And
earlier
there
this
you go, people. This is what they use to fuck with the masses all day of the week. And you see the YouTubers all coming out talking about they're giving update and stimulus. Nothing but fake they're giving the masses. They're trying to keep your hopes up that they're gonna stimulate you. Pay attention.
year halted evictions for anyone living in properties with federally backed mortgages.
Oh, federal backed mortgages. Remember, we're talking about people that rent. You understand? People that rent somewhere from somebody. Got nothing to do with no federal government. Can you hold them off and stop them from evict somebody if they don't pay the rent? I already told you. The people who currently rent, that's how they live. So when you don't pay the rent, how they gonna live? Come on, people. And the government not helping them out. So
All he's talking about is the life we're programmed to live in. Why are we still talking about the systems we're enslaved in? This is useless information about the life we live in. We should be trying to break free from these policies, these laws, these acts. These are all ways to govern over us. Real ways that govern over us. With the ways we're meant to believe. With the politics. We all know it's division. We all know it. Everything they give us is to divide us. Even MAG divides us.
or they're going to help you out.
Only applies to about a third of renters nationwide, and it's set to expire July 25th.
There you go.
In addition to the federal protections, most states put a pause on all evictions when the pandemic first hit.
That's what they tell the masses, to keep you at ease and feel good going home and lock down, quarantine. You understand? Of course they can't hold off the renters.
Those rules only postpone evictions. If tenants violate their rental agreements, landlords can still evict them once the moratoriums expire.
There you go. That's how it is, people. So they tell you that they put it out there for a little bit and then it expires. Then the landlord can evict you. Come on, people. This was all by design. Just like I tell you with the small businesses, yes, the weak people gonna break. It's just that simple. I told you already, a lot of people gonna get hurt by this pandemic that the government put on, not by a virus.
And that's exactly what's happening now to people like Rhonda Anderson. When
The weak people are going to break, especially if you're not teaching them truth that'll honestly help them in their life, which you're not doing. You're continuously talking about the problems and offering no real solutions.
South Carolina let its moratorium expire in May, it saw a spike in eviction filings,
There you
says
go.
Charleston attorney
All
Nicole
by
Pelosi.
design.
What we're seeing now is a significant bump in the non-payment of rent cases, and a lot of that is related to people being unemployed during COVID-19, during shutdowns.
It's really kind of a perfect storm.
Princeton University's
Perfect
LeVar
storm, and I already told you the reason why they use those words is because they're the one who create the storm. Even this right.
Perfect storm. Look at all the items they have perfectly placed in this one on Mag's channel. All for you to be programmed to purchase. All the musical instruments, the computers, the laptops, keyboard, headphones. All for you to be programmed to buy.
That you see they calling a storm, they're the one who created, put it together to break the masses, and of course it's gonna work.
and studies evictions. He says they were already a major problem before the pandemic.
The last 15, 20 years, you can see rents have been increasing considerably, whereas incomes have remained relatively stagnant.
In 2018, 1 in 4 renters in the U.S. put more than half their income towards rent. And about half of renters have less than $1,000 in savings.
And of course they can bring you this right here because it's all by design. I already told you. They have to keep people at the lower class They have to do it, people. That's how the world so-called stay balanced. You're not getting it. This is what they do right here, all by design.
Paying rent, but they're sort of on the edge of.
Now, Mag says you have to keep people at the lower class. We already know what the classes are. And how did the classes get created? By the money system that they enslave us in. The money they created. They created the classes. The more money you have, the higher class. It divides you from the lower class, the next lower class, and then the next lower class. And then finally the homeless that they created because of this system that they enslave us in.
Something goes wrong, and now we've got a problem.
What's pushing many renters over that edge is the economic fallout from the pandemic. One recent survey found up to a third of all renters weren't able to pay rent in April.
A third. And of course, they're always talking about survey. Where did they do the survey? Who did they ask those questions? I told you, fake on.
That's causing housing advocates to warn of what they see as a worst-case scenario, a spike in homelessness right in the middle.
There you go, people. That's what gonna happen. I already told you the pandemic is set up to break the poor people, put them under. That's what it is, people. And a lot of people gonna just break because the pressure is too much. There you go, right there.
That's what's going to happen. It's going to create more homeless. Of course it does. Their system already creates the homeless because of their class division. It's the way they program us to live.
People, this is what they're trying to do to the people.
Outbreak. That could expose more people to the virus if they end up in shelters where it's very hard to socially distance.
There you go. There you go.
Boston
And no shelter never helped the people. That's what you need to know. I have all kind of rules and regulation in there. Nobody want to be there.
Medical Center's Dr. Megan Sandel says not having quality, stable housing is also tied to other problems like food insecurity and increased stress. And that can in turn trigger long-term physical and
There you
mental.
go. This is what they want to do, people. Feed you out of a so-called food bank. You're not getting it. This is what they're doing. And that's why I tell you, it's the end of times. As you know it, that's what it is. 100% in. I told you, this is how they're gonna destroy the world right here for the reset.
Feed you out of a food bank. We shouldn't be concerned about being fed out of a food bank. If Mag was teaching real truth, he would already have taught you how to eat from the land that was created for you. He would have already taught you how to sustain yourself from the plants that were naturally created to sustain yourself with. And medically as well. If this one was really teaching truth, instead of distracting us with the Masonic signs and symbols it programs our mind to look for, then we would know truth by now, and we wouldn't still be talking about the world that programs the majority of people to be enslaved. The end of times as we knew it was when we all woke up to the truth about the world we were born into that enslaves us.
Health issues.
An affordable home is like a prescription for health, and nothing showed that more than during the epidemic. And so now is the time to double down on stocking that housing prescription.
Like many aspects of this pandemic, people of color are also most vulnerable when it comes to housing.
See, there we go, people. People of color more vulnerable when it comes down to housing. There you go again. Everything people of color is more vulnerable. I told you to stop playing the weak.
Blacks and Hispanics in the U.S. are twice as likely to be renters as whites. And during the pandemic, Black and Hispanic workers are more likely to have lost their jobs as well.
Yeah, but I already...
Stop playing the weak. Mag said, stop playing the weak. Stop creating the weak-minded, Mag. Stop programming the people.
I told you, people, as you could see that plate in the back for the sun ray. I already told you. They tell you to go home from the job that you have because they shut it down. But the government places is still up and running. Amazon, Walmart, all of them.
Mag's telling you to pay attention to the plate that represents a sun ray trying to distract you with the Masonic signs and symbols that are obviously everywhere, because we live in a Masonic construct. But he neglects to inform you that you're enslaved in the position they created, so you can cycle the money, because they stole your land and resources.
Still up and running. Those are government-owned places. They never close. So while your regular job closed, yes, these government company will hire you. That's what they do. They're changing everything, and you're not getting it. What you think when you file for unemployment? You're no longer employed. And of course, they start searching job to give you. And of course, they got...
MAG wants to program you back into your so-called normal life that you were brainwashed to live. Don't buy into it, people. Don't buy into it. He's not telling you the truth about what you really live in. He will play it off like I'm a kook and I'm out of my mind and I've lost it. My mind has broken. I've been manipulated and brainwashed, but that's not true, people. I'm honestly concerned about my brothers and sisters. I'm honestly concerned about what programs your mind, because we all need to be who we were naturally meant to be. And we all need to be able to think on our own without worshiping any man that wants to deceive us. I love you guys, and take care out there. We'll try to keep it short, so maybe Mag can listen to the whole thing, since we know his attention span is short.